In what can legitimately be described as a spasm of candour or a fit of frankness, Sir Jim Ratcliffe recently said some important things. Either by choice or ignorance, the press and the noisemakers on social media paid attention to the wrong bit. Here's the most important bit.
There used to be, I believe, as explained to me, there used to be a sort of coalition of the 6 major clubs who would have a certain level of influence in the Premiership, but that broke down after the Super Club.
Sir Jim Ratcliffe is now on record as saying that he was told there were 6 clubs who leveraged a disproportionate influence over the Premier League. This is the biggest scandal in the history of the game. It means for years, at least until the European Super League fell apart, the game was being run for the benefit of a handful of clubs. I'm not sure the relationship broke down then, but more about that later. It only appears not shocking because this situation is what many people have believed for a very long time. Most of those were dismissed as conspiracists or accused of being paranoid. But here we have it, said out loud on a financial news channel, a channel where Sir Jim Ratcliffe is the least likely to lie about this. It's beyond shocking. It's absolutely scandalous. After what Sir Jim has said, there are legitimate grounds for asserting that the original FFP rules, for example, and any subsequent amendments, including the ones being tried now, are all the fruit of a poison tree, planted and tended to by a few self-interested football clubs in the garden of an accomplice too weak to resist or too incompetent to notice. Vulgar protectionism, and that is cheating on an epic scale over years. Stealing the dreams of the fans of less historically successful clubs by rigging the rules for the benefit of a self-appointed privileged elite is obscene. Where is Simon Jordan and the proclaimed defenders of propriety at TalkSport, swinging their handbags at this grotesque, years-long deception and corruption, demanding that those clubs be expelled? That Sir Jim Ratcliffe thinks this is how it should continue is not the big story here. The big story is that it existed at all, and still exists. That's the headline being hidden. In the next episode, in a few days' time, I've made it, but I don't want to tax too much of your time in one sitting. We're going to look at who the influential clubs were and still are, so we'll be talking about Arsenal, United, and of course, the holiest team in the world. Then we'll look at some evidence that the clandestine malignant infestation remains untreated at the Premier League and dictating what they're doing. We're also going to look at how and why the media have been complicit and reveal the institutional naivety and ineptitude at the heart of the game's custodians. If you can spare a moment, please go to the YouTube channel and give it a sub. You don't have to watch anything on there. I will still post everything on here. But if some anonymous bellend wants to call me a fat, bald mank twat, then I'd like them to have the opportunity to pay to do so on a chat, and I need 500 subs to enable that. Also, not all or even most fans are on Twitter, but everyone's on YouTube.